sit with me for a moment and think to a cold Tuesday afternoon at the ballpark or Wednesday afternoon. It's so cold. I don't even know what day it is. The RISP was frozen. They had opportunities. We just missed out once again. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Let's talk about it on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talks Astros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day, even if they win, they lose, or maybe they'll win someday. But guys, thank you for making us your first listen. You are a winner for listening to the Locked On Astros podcast. Go and check us out, Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast and go and subscribe to us and make us your first listen on YouTube, and go and give us a big fat thumbs up while you're doing it. This episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. I'm sure a lot of y'all were doing it during the game today when the Astros were stranding runners on base. You have a competitive side. You don't like the Astros losing. So Monopoly Go is a good way to distract yourself. So it's a mobile hit, a twist on the classic Monopoly. So join your friends and download Monopoly Go now, free on the App Store or Google Play. So, Brett, when you're not freezing deaf outside in Houston and the bats going silent, where can they find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on X, Instagram, and Facebook, where I'm always positive, always Stros. Look, man, what a weird baseball game. I mean, this defines what baseball is, and this game defines where this team is at, where you can have something go really, really well for you, and then everything else isn't working at that moment. And it's like when one part of the machine started working well, the other part shut down. But then that part started working, and then the part that was working stopped working. And it's just like the first inning is just, let's say the first inning is the first part of this machine. The hitting is a second part. The bringing runners home is a third part. And then the bullpen is a fourth part. Well, the starting pitching started out bad, but fixed things. The bullpen did their job. They hit, but they couldn't bring the runners in. So the fact that your relievers threw a shutout meant nothing, because what your offense was unable to do. And it's because this team does not play well behind. They go behind, they chase pitches, they chase out of the zone. And that first inning, you have first inning trouble. You know, the Cubs had first inning or two troubles as well. So both teams didn't get off to a very hot start. And this game could have gone the Astros' way really, really quickly, and it just didn't.
Right. So, of course, last night the Astros got behind 5-0 early. They ended up losing. They can come back. Then tonight it was 4-0 after the first inning. They've been outscored 30-15 in the first inning this year so far. So you're not gonna, if you keep on putting the pitchers in that big a hole, it's hard for them. They have to go out there. Sorry, the hitters. They have to go out there and be perfect. And the way the Astros have been hitting, it doesn't matter where they're hitting right now. The baseball is going to find whoever it is, and the runners in scoring position, whether there's 2 outs, 1 out, it doesn't matter. It just, the situation, that's everything is going bad for the Houston Astros right now. And like they're 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. But Spencer Arrighetti, to his defense, we'll talk about the lineup change in a second, but he allowed 4 runs and 7 hits while striking out 7 batters in 3 2/3 innings. But he got those 11 outs, but he was looking dominating for a while there. So he shows some glimpses in between of that big inning. And he almost had a big inning in that fourth inning as well. So Espada had to take him out with the bases loaded. Shaun Dubin has been the best thing to the Astros bullpen this year. He came in, bases loaded, and struck out that hitter. He struck out, I think, 3 of the first 4 batters he faced. And he looks like he has type of stuff like Chris Stavinsky used to have. His movement on his pitches was great, and he looks like somebody that's going to be sticking around for a little bit. So this could have been, like you said, this could have been a much more lopsided game. The Cubs were playing sloppy baseball, and the Astros could not freaking capitalize.
But in that first inning, it wasn't even like, let's just really break it down. It wasn't the first inning, Eric. It was one pitch. It one pitch that caused that 3-run home run. If he doesn't make that mistake pitch, he probably doesn't hit a 3-run home run. And the Astros probably escaped that inning only with surrendering 1 run. The Astros go up 2-1 later in the game. The Astros possibly win this game 2-1. It was literally one pitch. Arrighetti did a great job settling down. And I know we're not here for the future and what we see down the road, but if your rookie pitchers are making adjustments like that, when the hits do start falling, when the runs do start scoring from second and third base, that's going to mean something. So you need something to build off of. And you have to, when you are in this situation as a team, you have to look at how things went well in certain areas and not focus on the negative. Because if you focus on the negative, you guys know this. I mean, you don't, hopefully, now I don't know you. I don't know y'all personally, but hopefully y'all don't wall around in your self-pity and woe is me, and kind of like Eeyore on the Winnie the Pooh cartoon, you know, the classic Disney where Eeyore is like, oh, bother, and he was always down and was always depressed. The Astros don't do that. The Astros can't do that. They have to look at what's going right for them. I mean, there's a lot of things in this game that were good, a lot of positives. And look, Jose Altuve hit a home run, but it was too late.
Are we sure that's Jose Altuve? I couldn't see behind the mask.
Yeah, that was him. He kind of looked like one of those guys that sits in the Death Star with the black helmets firing the Death Star, destroying planets. It's like that's my guy right there, Jose Altuve. But there were some good things that happened today. And Joe Espada did what a lot of people asked him to do.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, he changed the lineup. Yes,
that's something I actually called for in yesterday's show. I said, do something. It hasn't been working. So even if it's not Yordan Alvarez's fault. I mean, in this game, it wasn't the best, but we'll talk about the lineup switch in a second. But I do want to focus on, like you said, the 7 innings, a bullpen shut out the Cubs. And you saw Ryan Presley have a rebound inning. Ryan Presley has struggled this year. He had 2 strikeouts in this game. His stuff looked great. You had Dubin come in and pitch 2 1/3 innings. Montero came in, even though he brushed back that hitter. Overall, he looked pretty good. So I just don't know what happened to Cody Bellinger. How did he fracture his rib?
He's Cody Bellinger. He's oft injured.
So I guess he was having a great season, and now he's going to be on the IL for a little bit. But I guess that's just the weird baseball season we're having. Players are going down left and right. As a fantasy baseball owner, it's getting very frustrating. And I'm sure y'all are all dealing with that too as fantasy owners. So in a second, we all want to be the manager. We all want to make the lineup decisions. Joe Espada is the guy that makes the lineup decisions, and he actually made the decision. What did we think about this? Is this going to work out? We'll talk about it in a second.
This episode is brought to you by Policy Genius. You can check life insurance off of your to-do list in no time. It is the country's leading online insurance marketplace that saves you time and money so you can provide your family with financial safety net starting today. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams. Policy Genius helps you compare your options from top companies and their team of licensed experts is on hand to help talk you through the process. Talk to the team of award-winning agents who will walk you through the process step by step, easily compare quotes. See, your work-life insurance policy may not offer enough protection for your family's need. Even worse, it may not come with you if you leave your job. So Policy Genius gives you unbiased advice from a licensed expert support team. Check life insurance off your to-do list today. Head to policygenius.com/lockedonmlb or click on the link in the description to get your free license insurance quotes and see how much you can save. That's policygenius.com/lockedonmlb. And don't forget to go to Monopoly Go. This app is amazing. I mean, everybody's talking about it. You can get it in the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. You just download Monopoly Go. It is a really fun modern twist on the classic board game Monopoly. And, you had that classic board game and you loved those games, but you only had that one board. And if you wanted to get another board, you have to go out and buy another board. Well, with Monopoly Go, you get a ton of boards. And this thing's been downloaded over 150 million times. That should tell you that it is fun. It's got crazy locations, building up amazing cities that bring you big money. And the best part is I get to mess with my friends. I get to go in there and I get to do a heist and take the riches that they've created. I get to sometimes take a wrecking ball to their properties and I get money. Watch out because they're coming back at me. We're going back and forth. If you're competitive, you will love Monopoly Go. So get your friends, get your family, tell them to download Monopoly Go today for free on the App Store and Google Play Store. A classic game with modern fun.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Go and check us out. But if you can't get enough Astros talk, why don't you check out Michael Connor on the Locked On Astros postcast after every game. Win or lose, he'll be doing it. And then shortly after that, you'll see the Locked On Astros podcast guys do our thing. And we'll go ahead and talk about the big things that are going around with the Astros. You can watch both shows on your Amazon Fire TV stick or YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to both shows and go and check out Locked On Sports Day. It's the first ever 24/7 streaming platform out there. So I know on the past couple shows, I've been talking about Alvarez. I don't know if it's his fault. I'm not putting any blame on him. But we didn't have this issue last year when he was batting third or fourth. And so maybe there needs to be a change. And you're gone 24 games into the year. You had a 17 record or whatever it was yesterday. And so they've been struggling. If things are broken, you need to try to start doing something to fix it. And that's what Joe Espada said today. And so what happened was not necessarily because of Alvarez. I know he was kind of married. He kind of married himself to the Alvarez batting second early in the offseason and just kind of stuck to it. And to his credit, he stuck to it, even though the Astros were losing. But now he wants to make Alex Bregman feel a little bit more comfortable. And so far, he's been hitting 203 and 90 plate appearances this year, and he struggled a little bit so far. And last year, if you look at what he did when he batted second, he had a 280, 383, 466 slash line, and he had one of his best seasons. So what Joe Espada is saying is, hey, this isn't working. Bregman's struggling. Let's go ahead and make a small little lineup switch. Let's go ahead and put Bregman batting second, even though he's struggling, and let's go ahead and move Alvarez back to the number 3 hole, and then let's see what happens from here.
Yeah, look, I don't like Bregman in the 2 hole right now. I don't like my 202 hitter hitting in that spot. I know he's been successful there in the past, but I don't care. What is he doing now? He's not doing crap. Yeah, he broke his 0 for 17. He got a single and an RBI. Good job. That's one hit, and you don't need Bregman in the 2 hole. I vehemently disagree with that. And let me just say this, for those of y'all mentioning bring Maldonado back, y'all do realize the White Sox are 3 and 21. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. Like, really, Maldonado is not the difference maker. Maldonado may be a spirit stick guy. He may, and I've talked about maybe his leadership is missing, but him behind the plate is not the answer. Right now, you've got a guy with an OPS of 546 hitting second. That makes zero sense. Jeremy Pena has an 812 OPS, was 2 for 4 today. Hey, John Singleton, let's do this. Let's continue to give John Singleton his flowers because I've been on him more than I was even last year. John Singleton got 2 hits today. John Singleton is being more effective than Jose Abreu. Jose Abreu is slowly going into the night where he's going to become a platoon guy and he's going to be coming off the bench more than he starts. And if you can get John Singleton to actually do something and be productive, I'm telling you, you don't want Loperfido coming up right now, taking a spot on this team. Go look at Jackson Holiday. Go look what happened to this kid. He got crushed. He doesn't know what to do. He's a rookie. He's young. You don't put a young kid, a young guy that strikes out a lot on a team that's not getting runs or hits a lot of the times. I mean, this is a star-studded lineup, but you saw your best 2 left-handers go against left-handed relief pitching and totally drop a big fat 0. They did nothing. And right. Tucker is that guy, but I liked Diaz and Caratini being in the lineup together. I did like that look. Diaz was 1 for 4. He did have a strikeout. He did go fishing a little bit for balls outside of the zone. Again, the strike zone was atrocious like it always is. And I think umpires' minds are frozen whether it's 33 or 83 outside because they absolutely suck at calling pitches. You did have Jose Abreu come in towards the end. They had put him in at the end. He didn't get any at-bats, but he's batting 065. Pena's got to go to that 2-hole. I like Alvarez batting 3rd. I like Tucker batting 5th. I mean, Tucker has got an 899 OPS. He's your second highest OPS. I like him batting 4th. But Bregman absolutely does not. Look, if you want to trust Bregman, why not put him 9th where he can hit and Altuve can have someone on base, or he can walk and have someone on base, right? And of course, they would never put Bregman 9th just because the veteranship, because of how baseball is. I'm just talking about how do we score runs. I liked early on. We did bunts. We moved runners over. We were capitalizing on mistakes. The Cubs looked like the Astros in the field. It was nice. I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to win. I'm going to get to talk about the Astros finally get a W in Chicago. You know, they got the big W flag that they wave ever since the 2016 World Series. But it was just one of those things where, you know, Eric, these guys are just going to have to perform. And it sounds cliche. They're just going to have to execute because they absolutely suck right now with runners in scoring position. It is kryptonite to the Houston Astros.
All right, so I'm going to disagree with you. I think that this will be a good thing for Alex Bregman. I think that having the lineup protection of Alvarez and Tucker hitting behind him will help. I know you might turn around and say Altuve, if he's batting 9th, then Altuve would be behind him. But you're not going to, if you want to any chance of extending or re-signing Alex Bregman, you're not going to bat him 9th. He means too much to this team. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But I just think that they're going to give him a chance. This is one game. He had an RBI. He broke out his slump. So it could be the start of something. We could see a 3-hit game tomorrow. It's a small sample size. You can't just yes, Jeremy Pena so far this season is batting .310 with runners in scoring position, not including today's game. And Tucker is batting .385 in runners in scoring position. But if you're looking at Alvarez, he's 5 for 23 with runners in scoring position this year. And if you're looking at Bregman, he is 5 for 21. And then Diaz is 6 for 24. So it's not just all on Bregman. You got Diaz is getting some good hits this year. He's got some home runs. He's looking like the catcher we thought he would be offensively, but he's still not getting the big time hits with runner scoring position. It's all up and down the lineup. So what I think Espada is trying to do here is get Bregman in a spot where he's comfortable, get him going, and then trying to extend the lineup because Bregman hitting fourth, fifth, it wasn't working. They were just going to pitch around Tucker and Alvarez and to get to Bregman at that point. So I think this will help get the frozen RISP under control. And it really doesn't matter who's up right now, Brett. It's like whoever's up there with runners on. It's the Astros right now. I have it up here. Are 17th with a 260 batting average with runners on in scoring position. It's 686 slugging percentage. And I can find out what it is with 2 outs. With 2 outs, it's even worse. You ready for this? It is actually it's about the same. It's 228 with 2 outs. So with runners scoring position, 2 outs, it's a 228 batting average of 579 slugging percentage. So yes, they struggle, especially once they get to 2 outs.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just saying if I'm looking at the numbers and who's producing, and if your top 4 guys are supposed to be your top producers, I mean, okay, go ahead and keep Alex Bregman there for a while, but you better be willing to change it if he continues to, because he's batting 202. I understand he got an RBI time. I know he broke his streak, but it's what have you done for me lately? And I mean, it's not like because we're giving up 3 and 4 runs in the first inning, we've got to score as many runs as we can in the first inning. We don't have time to give a guy a second time through the order. That's my point. But I do understand the protection. But hey, let's tell the people about PrizePicks, because someone said they actually won some money. Someone said they actually won some money using PrizePicks tonight, betting against the Astros. That is very Pete Rose-ish of you. But download the app today and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match of up to $100. You heard me correct. I didn't stutter. I said that correctly. You can win 100 times your money with PrizePicks. You can pick alongside guys like Meek Mill and Sugar Shane O'Malley when you find the community plays under the promo tab. PrizePicks even offers injury insurance, so your entries stay in play, even if not you, but one of your players gets injured. For baseball games, if you have a player who registers 2 plate appearances or less, PrizePicks will have your back and not count that as a loss. Like if Jake Myers hits a home run and a double and gets pulled after that, don't worry about it. It's okay. Quick withdrawals are here for you. Easy gameplay and an enormous selection of players and stat types for what makes PrizePicks the #1 sports fantasy app in the world. Turn $10 into $100 in just a few taps. It also offers weekly promotions, special offers, and biggest moments in sports. PrizePicks now offers Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account this basketball season. So make sure that you go to PrizePicks. Pick more, pick less. It's that simple.
So, guys, we know that the Astros are struggling. It's obvious. They are having issues. It's not just they are 7-18 right now. There's a lot of things going on. Last time they got a win was when Verlander was on the mound, and he's on the mound tomorrow. So that's a plus thing for the Houston Astros. But if Joe Espada was not going to make any big time change, then you would have to start questioning his ability as a leader. But now he's at least going out there and trying something. Yes, you can move all the back end of the lineup. That does not matter. You could switch Tucker and you can move him back and forth between 3 and 4. That doesn't really matter. But what he did by moving Alvarez back and Bregman up, I think that was a big risk. Like you said, Bregman has not been Alex Bregman this year. So will it pay off? We don't know. It's only time will tell. So all he can do is just ride this pony for a little bit. And if it's broken, then go ahead and try a different pony. But you've got to find some type of pony, because the Astros are at a point where they're 7-18 now. No team has ever, I think 2 teams have made the playoffs at this point.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, it was the Royals and the Angels. The Royals in 81 and the Angels in 2002. I stated that the other night, that those are the only 2 teams to make the playoffs at that point in Major League Baseball history. And they can't be concerned with that right now. Look, this city has seen teams go from a number 6 seed like the Houston Rockets and win an NBA title. So the Astros were one game away in 2020 from going to the World Series, even though we call it the Mickey Mouse World Series. They were still one game away from doing that, and they weren't even supposed to be in the playoffs. The playoff rules changed, and they got into the playoffs, and everybody thought they were going to have a heyday with them. Nobody even picked them to win against the Twins, and they went in, and they narrowly missed the World Series against the Rays. And so there are I see some crazy, insane takes, and I'm not going to give them any weight, but y'all got to understand something, that the team doesn't knee jerk and react just because things aren't going right. They basically are focusing on what can they do in order to make how can they get all the pieces working at the same time. Like you said, that's what Espada is doing. Espada is not getting fired. Nobody's losing their job. They're not, Yordan Alvarez isn't going to Atlanta. Alex Bregman's not going to get traded mid-season. We're not getting Yordan back. Quit saying we wish you had Dusty back. Dusty Baker wouldn't be any more successful right now as a manager. He would have all these injuries to deal with. Nobody denies that he won a lot of games with the Astros. So all these nuanced, hyperbolic conversations that we're having don't get us anywhere down the road. Bregman is now given the opportunity to perform. He has to perform. He has to. Mm-hmm. There's no other choice. The pitchers are starting to come around. Presley looked great tonight. Shaun Dubin, stud. I mean, these guys coming in on the mound for relief for Arrighetti, and Arrighetti tied his career high. Montero came in. He did give up one hit, but he pretty much had that clean inning outside of that. But our relief pitchers had 5 strikeouts. Arrighetti had 7, 12 strikeouts total. And the Astros only struck out 7 times. They should have scored more runs. The Astros had 10 hits. They only had 3 runs. Sorry, Jose Altuve. I almost forgot your late inning home run. That meant nothing. But it's just, at the end of the day, they're so close. They're so close. Tomorrow they have to win. I think it's a must win. I'm not saying season's over if they don't, but Justin Verlander's on the mound. The energy is going to be different. And if it is, they need to tap into that. They need to ask themselves, why the heck am I different when JV's on the mound?
Yes. So Framber Valdez threw 40 pitches in the bullpen today, and he's expected to come off the IL and start one of the games in Mexico City this weekend. Ronel Blanco will start the other. So that's going to be definitely interesting environment. A lot of people have been talking about who's going to be the 27th guy. It's not going to be Loperfido. I think we talked about it yesterday. It's going to be Cesar Salazar. I think it makes the most sense. He's from Mexico. You can use Victor Caratini as a first baseman if needed to get that bat in the lineup. And there's a lot of great hits today, actually, that were just caught. And unfortunately, just sometimes the ball finds, when you're in a slump, the ball finds the fielders. So moving on, I do want to have some thoughts by Jeff Bagwell. You ready for this? So he was at a golf tournament today, and he was asked some questions, and this is what Bagwell said. Everybody's asking me how I'm doing. I'm miserable. My family and my life are great, but I live it every single day with this team. I'm in the box with these guys. I'm on the mound with these guys. I can state the obvious. Our starters are giving up runs in the beginning, and we're giving up runs late. It's very hard on offense if you're behind all the time. You start pressing. And you have this thing where you're supposed to be great at, and things are going bad and snowballing. Everything that could possibly go wrong is going wrong. This team can roll off 10 wins in a row, but it's got to start tonight. It did not. They have to start winning games, just winning series. Don't worry about anything else. And it's not certainly from lack of caring or lack of effort. He works as hard as anybody. Of course, talking about Abreu at this point. When you get older, and you struggle, it's a lot more difficult. You ready for this?
Yeah.
The old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. He's got to learn some new tricks right now. The only one who can do that is him. I do feel bad. I feel bad for the team. I feel bad for Jose, but it's not just Jose. We have to do a lot of things. A lot of things have gone wrong for this team.
Yeah. So there was a website that actually only clipped the portion where it says you just got to win games. And I'm like, come on, man. Yeah, come on, dude. Why are you going to pigeonhole Bagwell? Of course, my first thought was like, thanks, Bagwell. Of course, no crap. We got to win games. But, I mean, he said it right there. This is a Hall of Famer. This is a veteran. This is an MVP player, one of the best first basemen to ever play baseball. And that is the bottom line. They just got to go out there and they've got to perform better. And I mean, Jose Abreu's got a lot of pressure on him because he's older and he's not as athletic as he used to be. And I can understand that because as you get older, and I know all the sports I play, it takes me a whole lot more time to warm up and a whole lot more time to recover. And put that into a guy that's been playing 160 something games the last several years, and he's in his late 30s. Not making excuses, but it's not just these guys aren't robots. They're humans.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we have to remember. But at some point, they also have a duty to perform, and they're not paid to not perform. And I don't think it's they don't care. I think there seems to be a lack of energy because there's just doesn't seem to be a lot.
They're struggling. They're losing. This team knows they're capable of being in the World Series, and they, for whatever reason, they can't put everything together. And that's what they're struggling with right now. It's not that they don't care. It's they care too much. At this point, they're starting to press. You hear Bregman the other day. Every day is a must win. It's April, dude. It's April. And it's hate to say this, but hopefully May just kind of wipes the slate clean. And no matter what the record is, they can go ahead and start their winning ways. But that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett Chancey. We are the Locked On Astros podcast. You can watch us every day, and we talk Astros, and we will see you tomorrow. Go Astros.
All good.